What is up, Chaotic fans? I hope you're all doing well. It's been a very long time since my last video. I believe over 6 months. A lot of life has happened since then. A little bit of chaotic news as well. I'll talk about at the end of this video. I moved since then. I'm in a different location, so I know it's a little barren right now, but hopefully I can decorate it and spice it up in the future. But yeah, I got some cool, unique pieces of chaotic history to show you guys today, doing a little pack opening as well. This video is kind of part just discussing and showcasing these pieces of history, and the other half of the video is kind of dedicated, hopefully showing this to PSA. I want to do a submission, and I'm going to link this video. Hopefully someone there will see this and recognize some of the validity of some of these more rare items that I'm trying to get them to grade. So that's what we're doing today. And then after all that, at the very end of the video, I'll talk about chaotic future news. For once, I have kept my mouth shut, and there has been, a hype roller coaster going on of people getting excited and disappointed, and I, for once, was not a part of that. So that's a good feeling, but I will catch you guys up to speed on the news, which most of you probably already know, but we can talk about that. But yeah, with that being said, wait till you see this. How nice is that? I swapped out the old playmat for this one, and I think it looks fantastic. Just got to decorate behind me now. But today we are opening this 4Kids The Game Station collectible cards pack. And some of you hardcore collectors probably know what this is. Some of you may not. It's definitely a more niche item with an already niche trading card game, of chaotic. But as you can see here, obviously you got Ninja Turtles, Chaotic, Maxor, the Pinata guy, and I forget the Dinosaurs TV show, what exactly it was called. But this was a promotional pack, and it obviously has Chaotic cards inside that I'll be opening and submitting to PSA. So if you are the person at PSA watching this part is for you. I want to showcase, this is a legitimate pack, show you all of the text and writing. I'll probably include the wrapping for this pack when I submit the cards, just so you can verify everything. I will put on screen now what I recommend PSA name the cards, because there are two different cards within this pack that are chaotic cards. Obviously, PSA can name it whatever they want, but I'm just tossing out my suggestion as far as what title they should give it. I won't read all this, but I'll show you guys a little bit quickly behind this flap here. So I don't believe I already mentioned this, but this is a collectible booster pack, I guess not a booster pack, just a collectible card pack, where every single pack contains the exact same items. One of them, the most sought after card in here for chaotic collectors, is the full art Chaor. It's hard to know. I don't know the exact history of where these were distributed, how many were distributed, anything like that. Just looking at the eBay secondhand market, I know that there have been a couple instances where, tens to maybe even hundreds of these have hit the market at once. So I believe there's probably some people out there with some stockpiles, probably, 100 plus. But not too many of these full art KOs hit the market, so its value is done pretty well. I haven't checked sold listings recently, but it's usually somewhere around the $100 mark. But with that being said, let's tear open this piece of chaotic history. I do not take this lightly, but again, I would really like to get PSA to validate the card. So I'll shut up now and show you guys the contents. We have what looks like maybe a coupon or something for KB Clubhouse. Is that like KB Toys maybe? Yeah, $5 off. That's awesome. Feel free to use that, guys. All right, set these over here, and we will just go through these. In the back here, we have this is for the sweepstakes, some sort of promotion, not exactly sure. Not going to read that, but it was some sort of 4KidsTV sweepstakes. And then we have a Ninja Turtle card, Shell of a Day. That's pretty cool. I'll give you guys a close-up view here. Second card is Triassic Titans. Pretty cool, from that TV show, Dinosaur King. That's what it was. Third card here is our first chaotic card. This is Beware of Frostbite. But this creature here, his name is actually Ulfhedin. I have no idea if I'm saying that correctly, but I will point in the description to a resource where you can see more about this creature. When Chaotic was still active, they would do promotions that you could get beyond rare cards, and basically what that meant was they were digital only. There was no physical example of them. And one of the beyond rare cards that they did give out as an award was Ulf Hedin. So it does technically have a card, it's just not physically. And then I also believe the most rare card in all of Chaotic is the draw skin, obviously. And I believe the actual artwork of the draw skin is being worn by Ulf Hedin, this creature right here. So in the lore of Chaotic, that's a pretty cool card to have for sure. Let me sleeve this quickly. Don't worry, guys, I'm taking very good care of these. Condition looks pretty good as well. Not that that really matters, I just want them to recognize the card. But here's the back of it. Looks clean. It's got sharp squared edges, which is unlike the rest of Chaotic cards, which are rounded. And then our last cards is the Viva Pinata guy, Fergie's Worst Nightmare. And here is what we came for, the Kaor. Chaotic only had 2 full art cards, Maxor and Kaor, obviously with them being kind of the main characters of the show. That was pretty significant. And I don't believe this was playable. I don't think this code worked or anything like that. The front looks like this, which is pretty cool. And the back looks very similar to all of their Chaotic cards. I do believe there's some slight differences. I don't think normal Chaotic cards have the red text that says enter the code, sorry. But yeah, this is the card. This as well looks to be in pretty good condition, which is awesome. But that is that. Just want to show you guys that before. I didn't mention this at the top of the video, but I don't believe anyone on the internet has ever opened one of these packs on camera. So this might be a first, which is pretty cool. Again, all cards are guaranteed in every pack, but again, it's historic for Chaotic. So really excited about that. Again, if you're the person at PSA, you will be getting these. Hopefully you will validate my claim of authenticity that these deserve to be graded. They were officially distributed cards. Uniquely, they didn't come from Chaotic USA or anyone from the Chaotic side. This was a 4KidsTV promotion with some of their IPs and TV shows. But yeah, that is that, which is really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And I want to share 2 more things that I'm going to try to get PSA's attention to grade, which is these heavy hitters. In my opinion, likely the second most rare cards in all of Chaotic. Number 1 being the draw skin, like I talked about, and these are tied for number 2. The Blugon and Rothar NYC Comic-Con promos. These look just like, well, not just like, but they look very similar to the normal Blugon and Rothar from the first set of Chaotic. The difference is, there are some small differences, but the main one, the easiest one to tell, is the banner on the lower part of the artwork that says New York Comic Con 2007 demo card. So I've talked about these before, but the reason I'm showing them now is because I was lucky enough to get 2 more of them. And I'm kind of showing these as like, hey, PSA, Beckett has graded these. And if you would like to compete and notice that they are valid, this is something that you can research and find valid claims for their authenticity. I would like PSA to grade them. I prefer PSA, so that's going to be my attempt with these. I think I've tried them before and they've rejected them, so I'm going to try again. But here they are closer up, and here is the back of them. Some slight differences on the back as well as far as the design, but that is what they look like. I saw someone recently post that they had several of these, and they actually listed some for sale on eBay for what I think is a pretty cheap price considering their rarity, and I think he said he's trying to grade the rest, so maybe he's already had success with that. But I did want to also talk about these because I've mentioned before pretty confidently what I think their print run was based on a conversation I had privately with Brian Gannon. But I've talked to him since about it, trying to say, hey, can we get some sort of paperwork or anything to validate that claim? And he has been unable to come up with anything that can prove exactly how many of these were printed. Of course, he remembers printing these, and these are legitimate cards. They're really the first Chaotic cards ever printed because they were handed out as a promo before the game ever released, which I didn't mention, just kind of assumed you guys knew that. But they are really cool to have that history. But again, I wanted to even sort of correct myself that I've before said confidently, hey, I think they printed, X amount of these. And I just want to tread a little more carefully now, that I don't want to put myself out there as, the authority on that if I don't have paperwork to back that up, or something a little more official or public. So with that being said, I think they're extremely rare, but I don't know exactly how many of these exist. But that is that. Great timing. You can probably hear some yard work going on behind me. All right, I'm back. I was letting the noise die down. But the last thing I have to show you guys is this card right here, which is the last thing that I'll be submitting for grading, trying to get PSA's attention. This is a hearing card. It looks very similar to the normal card that you got in the first set of Chaotic and in the first starter deck from Chaotic. However, if you have a keen eye, you'll notice there's no code at the bottom. Instead, it says chaoticgame.com. Also, another difference is the stats here. The font is a little thinner, and the stats don't vary on any of these. This is from what I call a demo deck, which looks just like this. And I'm showing this because I think it's a really cool piece of history. I've talked about it before, but also, again, I'm trying to validate what this is. So hopefully PSA will accept these as authentic and grade them, because ultimately I would love to grade every card in this deck and open it, which is another thing that I don't believe has ever happened on YouTube. So it'd be very historic. But yeah, this was another piece of Chaotic history. It was given out also before the game was officially released, and this was a full starter deck, just so people could start playing the game and demonstrate how the game functions before they'd actually printed the first full set. So what this is it has all the cards, like I said, from an Underworld starter deck. So it's going to have the same 6 creatures. Hopefully you guys can see in here the same 6 creatures, 20 attacks, all the locations, all the musics, all the battle gears, so on and so forth. And they're all in here. And this is how they came. There was no official packaging outside of this. It was just this clear packaging, and they would hand them out at events they went to and stuff like that. Again, just trying to demo the game and show how it actually plays. Again, hopefully PSA will see this and authenticate it. This is what the back looks like, in case you're curious. Looks like a traditional, normal Chaotic card. Same thing on this one. This card is absolutely beat up. I'm not expecting a good grade, but again, I would just like to validate it for the future, so people can submit these themselves. These are very interesting. It's something that I've talked about some, but I feel like they're far more interesting and deserve a lot more credit than they get, because a lot of people look at these and say it's just another starter deck, and we've never seen a high value sale of these, so they are skeptical that they would have any more value than a typical starter deck. But my simple argument for why I think these are actually very valuable, and if I'm being honest, I've been kind of quiet about these for a while because I wanted to do more research and see what I could find out, and ultimately see how many of these I could acquire. But again, my simple argument for why I believe these are quite valuable and rare is, think about how many people say, hey, I found this collection of Chaotic cards in my son's closet, or in my closet, or at a yard sale, or at a game store, or anything like that. And they typically post, just binders full of pages, bulk listings, anything like that. It happens quite frequently, right, with any trading card game. But with these, how many times do you see someone in their collection find or whatever from their childhood? How many times do you see demo deck cards with this, chaoticgame.com at the bottom? I see it almost never. And I look at eBay sold listings. I used to look at nearly all of them, but I still look at a large majority of everything that sells on eBay just because I'm interested in it. And I have seen in the past 5-6 years, less than 10 of these sell. I mean, I can only remember seeing 6 of them sell. And I think they're similar to these booster packs that I would not be surprised if, I know some people are sitting on, I know one guy who's sitting on roughly 20, and I don't think that's a secret. I mean, I'm not going to say who, but there are some people who have several of these. But again, I don't think it's nowhere near the same print quality or quantity as a traditional starter deck, which there are tons of those out there still sealed. And obviously these to me are more historic. I know some people may just not care about the history of these, and but for me, for these being what was printed even before Dawn of Param, I just find that to be significant. I think it's really cool. You know, do I think this is worth the same as a draw skin? Probably not, but I think it's certainly worth a lot more than a starter deck. But again, that's just me. I'm not trying to tell you how to spend your money. I'm just telling you that I think these are super cool. I would love it if PSA would authenticate this and grade this, so that way we could do a pack opening of this, and there's an overworld one as well. Forgot to mention that, but yeah, there's an overworld and underworld. It'd be really cool to do like a live stream, just open them, look at them all. We know it's going to be in there, but it would be historic to crack one of these open and to get them all graded. And then again, I think they're unique pieces of history that's, I think given time, other people will probably appreciate them too and want, you know, one of the 60 cards in there. I just think it's really cool. I'm rambling, but that's pretty much it. Hope you guys liked the video. I'll talk now a little bit about future news, but if you're the PSA person watching this video, you can peace out. Hopefully this gets to them. We shall see. If anything, I'm kind of putting pressure on them, putting this video out publicly. Hopefully they'll feel some sort of pressure. Hope you guys like this beautiful playmat. I'm excited to use it more in the future. But yeah, future chaotic news. Most of you have probably already seen this. I have intentionally stayed quiet because I've learned my lesson. Other people haven't learned their lessons quite as well, but they will in the future. That's not a shot at them. I'm just saying I feel I can sympathize with those who speak a lot about Chaotic's return, and then turns out they don't have plans change. But the point is, Gannon has said to some people, and I've even talked to him privately, and he also publicly left a comment on social media saying that they were gearing up for an official announcement at San Diego Comic-Con, which is at the end of July. So it was very exciting. I talked to him on the phone a few times, and he shared similar things. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that to like validate the claim. Like that is just pretty much all he told me as well. That like, yes, we are planning for an official announcement at Comic-Con, which is super exciting. And then he shared with another creator that that has actually been delayed, and they're planning to have an official announcement now, roughly next spring of 2026. Which I know some people are really disappointed about. However, I will say this. What he has shared with me, and I'm not under like an NDA or anything. I'm just trying to be mindful of, not oversharing things that I'm not allowed to yet. But they have the deal that they have signed and come to an agreement with is far more official than anything that has happened in the past. Like ink has hit the paper. There are deals that have been signed, and they are officially partnered with someone who is going to help them relaunch. And the plan is, again, pen to paper, what they have agreed on is we should be getting product in 2026. Now, listen to the rest of this video. Don't run away. The reason you haven't heard an official announcement yet and people continue to ride this hype roller coaster is because there hasn't been anything official to share yet. And of course, they would like control over how and when they do that. And I think people just have been getting frustrated that, surprise, surprise, unofficial plans change. Business is difficult, and a deal to get signed and executed on this scale is difficult. and I think Gannon needed to find the right partner in the right time. And I say all that to say, I believe that is what their plan is. And I think Gannon has even shared that, somewhat publicly with people, saying like, yes, we are gearing up for hopefully more official things next year, announcement and product. But please take that with a grain of salt that, that could change. That is possible. Gannon, next year, things could roll around. You have no idea with tariffs or whatever, what happens behind the scenes, what could possibly, have them delay it a little further. Who knows? Maybe spring rolls around and they're still working on the set and they say, you know what, we want to aim for a holiday release. We think that will be more beneficial for our cause. And so it could get kicked down the road a few months, which, I get is disappointing because I'm with you guys. I've been waiting since, 2011 to have this game back, which I really love. But I say all that to say it's super exciting that an official partnership has been signed to bring our game back to life. And that is roughly all we know right now. I don't know any more that I'm allowed to share, but it's super exciting. And just know that unofficial plans change. So what happens, happens. But the last thing I want to say is, and I've talked about this before, it's getting hot in here, is that for those that are upset at Gannon and the way, these releases have happened, I would just push back on that a little bit and say that Gannon has never gone out of his way to share anything with us. He's only shared information if and when people have gone to him and asked, and he's been kind enough to share, behind the scenes unofficial information that has changed. Yeah, you can critique that and say that I don't love the way that information has been leaked out. Absolutely. But just, I think the weight of your criticism should measure up to the weight of the announcement. So you can criticize unofficial announcements, but just, I wouldn't take them too seriously. But when there's an official announcement that comes from the mouth of the Chaotic Company and these partners and Gannon himself, then, that will have a much weightier weight behind it. And then you can really criticize that if you don't like how that, meets your standards. Hope that makes a lick of sense. I'm sweating for some reason, even though I have the AC on. But I appreciate you guys. And PSA, you better take my cards. And hopefully it won't be too long before another video. I'll be honest, I'm pretty busy with other projects, and I want to make chaotic content if and when we get official news. You know me, I don't want to just put out fluff content, but I won't be a stranger. I'll have more chaotic content in the near future. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you later. Peace.